Hello students, welcome to today's session. Last time we were discussing character set, tokens and syntax. We saw that we can form tokens with the help of character set, and we can combine different tokens with the help of syntax. Okay, just like from alphabets you can form words, and from words you can form sentences. Okay, same things goes for Java. Okay, instead of alphabets you will have the character set, instead of word you will have tokens, and instead of grammar you will have syntax. So let's see what is character set in Java. Okay, so the character set consists of alphabets, numbers and special symbols. Alphabet contains all the small letter alphabets and capital letter alphabets. Numbers contain all the digits from 0 till 9. Using these 10 digits you can form any number. And you have got special symbols. I've just mentioned a few here, but there is a lot more. So this special symbols is also a part of the character set. Okay, so you should remember this character set has got alphabets, numbers and special symbols. Using these characters you can form tokens. There are two standard character sets. Okay, one is the ASCII and the second one is Unicode. Okay, before I explain ASCII and Unicode, you should understand that any character that you type in a computer, in any software, will eventually be converted into a number, because computers can understand only numbers, isn't it? So any character that you type in a computer, it will be stored as a number. Okay, but which number? The question is which number. Let's say I want to store letter A. Okay, I want to store letter A in the computer. Okay, I have written this letter A in Microsoft Word, let's say. So this letter A will not be understood by the computer as letter A. It will be understood as some number. Okay, so humans have decided that A will be represented by 97. Okay, colon, semicolon will be represented by some other number. At the rate symbol will be represented by some other number. Okay, so if you see this table here, it has been decided that A will be represented by 97, B will be represented by 98. I'm talking about small letter A, small letter B. Okay, similarly capital A will be represented by 65, capital B will be represented by 66. Okay, and whatever the binary form is of the particular number here, that will be the number which will be actually stored inside our computer. Okay, so whenever you type A, this A is taken as 97 by the computer, and finally it is converted into the binary form 011000001. Okay, this is the form in which the computer will understand the letter A, the character A. Similarly, if I type, let's say if I type 1, okay, even digits, even any digits you type in a computer, it will not be understood as the digit itself. Okay, because for the computer, even if you type 1, it is just another character. Okay, it is just another character. So this character will be represented by a number, and that number is 49. Okay, and that 49 will be converted into its binary form, okay, which is 0 0 1 1 0 0 0 1. So this is the binary form of the character 1. So whenever you type 1, it is stored in this binary sequence. Okay, and similarly for any symbol also, let's see, you want to store hash. So if you are typing hash in the computer, it will be taken as 35, and that 35 will be converted into its binary form 00100011. Okay, so this is how hash will be stored. Okay, now since all the characters are represented as numbers, okay, let's imagine a scenario here. Let's say there are two friends, A and B. Okay, so A is trying to send some message to B through WhatsApp. Okay, so A has written hello. Okay, A is sending message hello to user B. Okay, now as I told you that all the characters will be represented in its binary form, so H will be some number, isn't it? So if you recall, capital A is 65, that means B C D E F G H. 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. I think H will be 71. I'm not sure. Okay. The number for H is 71. Okay. So there will be a number for letter E. There will be some number for character L, and there will be some number for character O. Okay, now those numbers will be converted into the binary form, and finally that binary form will be transmitted to user B's device. Okay, so user B has got the message of user A, but it is in the form of binary. Okay, so that binary will be reconverted to human readable form, that is hello. This is how the communication happens. Now let's say for user A, A has defined his own set of rules. Okay, that H is 57, E is 91. Okay, now when user A will send this message to user B, he's just sending he. Okay, sending he. What will happen? If user B has defined his own set of rules, okay, that for, let's say user B has defined that 57 means B, and 91 means D. Okay, so the message which went from A to B was 5791 in the binary form. Okay, I'll use the decimal form only here, 5791, but understand that it's going in the form of binary. So 5791 is the message. Okay, and the message was supposed to be he. B should have received the message he. But the problem is that B has defined his own set of rules. B has decided that 57 means B and 57 means B and 91 means D. So the message that user B will actually receive is not he, but it will be BD. Okay, so BD does not make any sense, and BD is not the message that was sent by user A. User A's message was he, but user B received BD. So you see the problem here. So if this is exactly why you need ASCII. Okay, you need a certain standard that will be followed by everyone throughout the world, so that our message is coherent. Okay, if you do not have a standard set of character codes, you can see what kind of problem can arise. Okay, so that is why it was decided that the whole world will follow this ASCII character set code. Okay, so I hope now you can understand why do you need ASCII. Okay, so ASCII uses 7-bit to represent the characters in the binary form. Okay, so 7-bit means what? 7-bit means 2 to the power of 7, and 2 to the power of 7 means 128. Okay, so 128 characters can be represented by this ASCII. Okay, and this ASCII covers all the covers all the characters used in the English language. Okay, similarly we have another standard. Okay, this was the first standard ASCII. The second standard is Unicode. So Unicode is also similar to ASCII, but why do we need Unicode? If it is similar, why do we need another set of codes? The reason is because ASCII can store only 128 characters, and 128 is not just sufficient. Okay, it is not at all sufficient to store all the characters of all the languages all around the world. Okay, 128 is simply not enough. That is why another system was invented, and that system is known as Unicode. Okay, and Unicode character set uses 8 bits to 32 bits. Okay, there is UTF-8, there is UTF-8, UTF-16, UTF-32 according to the requirement. Okay, starting from 8 bits up till 32 bits. So that means what? Recall that ASCII used only 7 bits. Okay, but here you can see that ASCII can use up till 32 bits. Okay, that means it can store way more characters than ASCII. And this Unicode In the Unicode, the first 128 characters are that of the ASCII, okay, and the next 128 characters are that of the extended ASCII, okay. Extended ASCII is another set of code, okay, which stores some other symbols, okay, that is as extended ASCII. So ASCII covered all the characters of the English language, but Unicode covers all the characters of all the languages around the world, okay, and it can still cover more, okay, because 32 bits is a very big number. So that is why this Unicode came up. So I hope you can understand why do we need ASCII, okay, and why Unicode came up. So all these features you must understand. So I'll stop here for today and I'll continue in the next session. Thank you.